My name's Nicole Schmitz and I'm here to talk about anything and everything to do with holistic health and wellness. Using my background in psychology and sharing some of my personal experiences, hopefully I'll be able to share with you some useful tips and tricks that will help you become the best version of you. So today I'll be talking about how to really start living in the now. There are about 1,000,001 other posts out there that talk about what it means to really live in the now. We're talking about being present, being mindful, meditating, all of which I love to do. But I do believe that in today's day and age, when we've got busy, prosperous lives, families, careers, the simple act of being present in the moment isn't as straightforward as it seems. So how can you really start living in the now? I've got 2 seemingly counterintuitive, yet incredibly useful and effective tips and tricks, which I'm going to share with you in this video. Reconcile with your past. Reflection, reflection, reflection. Keep a diary. Give it the time and attention it deserves. Believe me, you'll thank yourself later. Because the last thing you want to do is have that pent-up anger, frustration, disappointment, and myriad of other emotions and feelings buried deep in your chest, only to become more cemented the longer it's left over time. Now, this may seem counterintuitive to the traditional concept of being present and mindful, because you shouldn't dwell on your past, right? I'm not trying to suggest that you replay the events of the past over and over in your head, or avoid them to the point where they only resurface, 10 years later? What I am trying to say is, don't dwell in the past, but give it the time and attention it deserves in the moment. A preempted amount of time, whether that be a few days or a few weeks, depending on the magnitude of the problem. But during that time, allow yourself to cry all you want. Talk about it, write it in a journal, drink a glass of wine, whatever therapy you need that's going to be able to help you reconcile the issue and move forward. So dealing with your past can help you to become more present. And trust me, you're gonna have to deal with it one way or another, and it's only gonna manifest in other crazy dark ways. So it's best to nip it in the bud and deal with it in the moment in a healthy manner. I know this for a fact because I've been through it myself. We've all been through those traumatic experiences, like say, a messy breakup, where you're in complete denial. You tell yourself that you're totally fine, you're totally sweet, that you completely got over that so quickly, but no, you didn't. That was me a few years back. And let me tell you, it came back to haunt me many a times, until I finally chose to deal with it properly, in the way I was supposed to. Now, for me, that looked like writing all my feelings down on a piece of paper, good and bad, with an extremely large glass of red wine, Shiraz to be exact, and ceremoniously burning it to shreds on the balcony of the place I was living at the time. I had finally dealt with it properly, and I could move on and be more present. And I thought to myself, if I had just done this in the first place, I could have saved myself a whole lot of heartache and frustration. Nevertheless, dealing with your past, whether immediately, which is preferred, or sometime in the future, say when you've watched this video or when you finally feel ready, it's going to allow you to really put your past at bay and to really be present and to really enjoy what life has to offer you right now. Feel optimistic about the future. Again, this may seem counterintuitive to the traditional concept of being present and mindful, because you can't be thinking about your past or your future if you're to be in the present, right? Well, not exactly. Feeling hopeful about the future doesn't mean you literally sit there fantasizing about your dreams and getting lost in your future goals and aspirations to the point where you can't manifest them in real life. What I do mean is having a general good feeling and positive attitude about the future, with the hope and trust that the universe has in store for you exactly what you deserve, and that everything will happen for you in the right moment, exactly the way it's supposed to. Comforting, right? There's been certain times in my life where I've wished for something and I didn't know exactly how I'd get there, but I trusted in the universe that somehow it would happen for me. There was a time when the opportunity to travel the world in style as a flight attendant for Emirates Airlines kind of fell into my lap. It was a last-minute opportunity. I hadn't done much research, but I knew that the stakes were high and the process was tough. That about 1,000 or so people would apply, and if you were lucky, maybe 10 or so got through. But again, I was feeling really hopeful and optimistic about the future, that everything would work out the way it was supposed to. And this stopped me from getting bogged down in the nonsense worries of failing before it's even happened, and allowed me to remain present and focused, relaxed in myself, all of which was needed in order to pass the process. Thankfully, I was one of those 10 that were chosen, and I was able to embark on the most amazing journey around the world to over 45 countries over 3 years. And then there was a time I was single for 3 long years, and I wondered whether I would ever meet the right partner for me. For 1.5 of those years, I was completely alone. It was tough. But somehow, I just knew. I had a really good feeling that the universe had in store for me exactly what I deserve, and when the timing was right, it would happen for me. To just enjoy being young and single while I can. This allowed me to enjoy being a young single woman in the present without the worries of whether or not I would meet my partner in the future. And guess what? I did end up meeting that guy who is now my absolute rock and best friend. And we've been together for almost 4 years now, and I can honestly say I've never been happier. So there you have it. 2 seemingly counterintuitive yet simple tips on how to really start living in the now. They can be used to complement the already existing and amazing concept of being present, as some practical tips on how to really put it into practice and kickstart living in the now. So in addition to the traditional practices of living in the now, such as being present, mindful, and meditating, add in there reconcile with your past with designated time to reflect, to nip issues in the bud and prevent them from resurfacing in ugly manifestations later down the track, and hold an optimistic attitude about the future, whatever that may be. You might not necessarily know what lies ahead, but you feel confident and reassured that whatever comes your way is meant to happen and will come about in the exact right timing and way for you. So, by effectively dealing with your past, engaging in mindful activities to be present, and feeling hopeful about the future, you can successfully and truly start living in the now. I really hope this video has helped you in some way. If it has, or if you have any other questions, please let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe button below, and I'll see you next week with a new video.